Hello, fellow nurse entrepreneurs. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was I always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have that flexibility, pretty much have that freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Hello. So good morning, everybody. So this morning, I want to welcome everybody in. I want you to like, I want you to share, I want you to comment. We have an amazing person who I've known for a fairly long time now. I can say that, who is here. And I want y'all to clap it up for, in the comments, clap it up for Dr. Cleveland. So Dr. Cleveland, tell the people, give us a short bio of kind of who you are.
Oh, short. Oh, hey, Dr. B. First and foremost, thank you for allowing me to even be on here today. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Sandra Cleveland. I am CEO of Tribe Consulting. People know me as the digital bestie. My world is helping people navigate digital and technology so that they can use it to their best way. I want you to live your best life, and technology can be a part of that.
I love it. Now, one of the things that I just want to let y'all know, okay? So Dr. Cleveland serves as one of our coaches in our program. And one of the things that I love is that she's an AI expert, okay? And we'll get into all the AI, but I just want to tell you that the other day we were just having this general conversation about, we have this script, of course, whenever you're selling, because you have to sell in order to be able to be prosperous. And she created, because in AI, you can have GPTs that can work as employees pretty much. And she created a GPT for that to bounce off things. I was like, oh my God. And so she shared it with everyone. So those are some of the things you get in the program, but we're going to go back to where you first started. Why did you even want to become a nurse?
Okay. So here's confession time. I didn't want to become a nurse. I could lie. I was not thinking about nurse in my career whatsoever. I am a sports nut to my heart and soul, you guys. And I was trying to actually get into sports medicine, not going to lie. And at the school I was at, they were still developing that program. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go in physical therapy because that's kind of along the stuff that I can, track that way. And then I realized at that point in time that physical therapy, I would have to go to school for 5 years. I was a freshman. I was not about to have that life. I laugh at it now because
right.
But at that time I was like, oh, ain't no way. And so I had enough credits towards the end of a year and a half in, where you really have to get there and determine your major at that point in time. And I was like, oh, I have enough credits to apply for the nursing program. When they had not thought about that ever, I promise you. I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and apply. And that's how I got in.
Hilarious.
But I laugh because one of the things that it did afford me in this journey is that I could move to where I wanted to move within nursing. So it allowed me to get different, stages and move forward. When I was kind of tired of the piece of the journey I was at, I could move forward with it. So,
I laugh at it too, because your journey has been a little bit rocky, because you like, first of all, you are Dr. Cleveland. So let's just go there. So you've been to school
For life.
longer than 5 years.
Dear Lord, like 5 years, I wish I had just gone out doggone funky 5 years. But I have been in school, if you guys know me, for life. Life. And it's either been on the side of being the student or on the side of being the prof. So when I say I've been in school for life, I truly have, you guys. Like seriously. Like, okay.
And then you so tell us a little bit about the story, because you became a DNP coach initially, right? And so why did you become a DNP coach? And let me explain something to the people in the audience. Okay. If you listen, you need a coach whenever you're in that DNP program. It's a whole situation and you don't really understand all the ins and outs of it. And it's something that you really, really want. And it really is something that you need somebody to kind of help you go through the program.
Yeah.
And so you were initially a DNP coach, but why were you initially a DNP coach? There's a story behind that.
Yeah. So back in the day, so when I thought, okay, let me go back for school and continue my journey, I entered into a brick and mortar PhD in program. Because at that time we thought, oh, that would be fabulous. I'll be at the pinnacle of my career type of thing from an education standpoint. So I went through, and the way the journey goes for a PhD student, at least at that point in time, is you had to finish all your coursework first, and then you had your qualifying exams. So they basically could test you on anything that you've done throughout the journey of your coursework. And so there was a couple of those exams. And then once you pass those exams, you could then move forward to your dissertation process. And so I had gone through all my coursework and then I had done the first of the 2 exams, but I was pregnant with my daughter at that point in time. And so I was having complications and had to be on bed rest for 8.5 months. So that effectively took me out for the full academic year during that time. And so I had done all the paperwork, dotted my I's, crossed my T's, blah, blah, blah. And so when I returned back, I essentially kind of got ghosted. Like, they would talk to me every once in a while, but I wasn't being able to move forward. And I was like being pretty consistent in trying to make sure that I was trying to move forward, but my time technically expired, even though it should not have, because I was off for the academic year. So all that to say, is I was really sad when I first, got the news that no, you can't continue on. And then for those of you who know me, I don't stay sad long. I got mad about it. And so I was like, oh, so
the Detroit in her.
man, like you think about it, what you're not gonna do is this. And so I found another program, and it was an online program at the time. And it was still online, was still newer at that point in time. And so I literally talked to the advisor, probably, I think it was that Wednesday. That Thursday, I got approval into the program. That Friday, I got my schedule for my first course. And then the following week, I went into that class. And so I essentially, in that program, had to almost take a lot of my courses again. Now, mind you, I was successful in the first stream. So I essentially ended up taking 2 PhD programs out of this whole journey. And so, so school, when I went through that journey, I promised after I got out of it, I later, like the silver lining for me in that is that I learned how to, I could teach online. I had been teaching face-to-face for years. I was like, I can teach online. And so I became an online instructor. And then I was like, but I can teach, I felt like the way I was teaching my students for their DNPs was different than what others were doing. And my students were getting it and they were successful, not just in the program, but beyond. Mm-hmm. And I wanted the program is not supposed to be a mystery. To me, it's not a mystery. But if you don't understand what the journey even entails in the first place, you don't know the questions to ask. And I didn't want folks in the same position I was in. That's what started me on my DNP coaching journey.
I love that. And the reason why I love that is, my pastor had this sermon on Sunday. It's kind of sort of in the same way where he talked about this is a deal. And I think that when people understand this about life, It literally changes how you go through things. The reason why you go through something is so that you can get through it, so that you can teach other people how to get through that thing.
Yeah.
It is not, woe is me. It is not, this shouldn't have happened to me. The reality is that life is going to happen to many people.
Right.
But going through it and being tore up, getting ulcers, and just upset about it is not, it's not even the way to go through it, right? And and I love what you said about I'm going to take one day. I'm going to take a good 30 minutes to an hour, and maybe a day, maybe 20, maybe 2 days. But 48 hours is the max. And then we're going to figure out how to get back up, because you never ever learn anything from your successes. Your learning phase always comes from your failures. Period. That's when you learn. And so the thing that, I just love how you just walk through that, and then you help people. But then you pivoted, right? So
Right.
you pivoted to what you're doing now, which is AI.
Yes.
You're the AI expert. Like, you're phenomenal at that stuff.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I mean, like, phenomenal at it. Like, I'm like, oh, we can do that. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the reason why. So tell us the reason why you decided to sign up to become an AI expert. And then tell us what that journey looked like.
Okay, so I'm going to take us back a little bit. So when I was doing teaching, I was the one who was always playing with the new technology, the educational technologies. Love playing with them behind the scene. And at the university I was at that time, they really didn't have anything online per se, like online courses or anything like that. And I was teaching a course with two other colleagues. So for those of you who teach undergraduate, it was a combined medical, surgical, psych, and pediatric rotation, all in one class together.
Mhm.
And so it was the three of us, but I had to monitor 42 adjunct faculty who were teaching the clinical components as well as 80 students who were in that class. And
Mhm.
so I started technology because I needed survival, you guys. I needed a way to be able to communicate with my instructors, and I needed a way to communicate with my students. And so I just developed an online component to our class at that point in time, where we never had anything like that. And
Mhm.
so it went really well, and folks really liked it from both standpoints with that, enough that we expanded that into other programs within that college and then across the university.
Mm.
So I did all of that. And then at other points in times, I have brought technology into different programs. But here was the thing. Um, I always had fun with it. One, I always wanted it so that it was accessible to us, like we understood what was going on. I never wanted to claim that I'm the expert tech person per se. I always called myself the tech wannabe. Like, I want to be able to bridge the gap between that technology there and you right here that's like, I would love to use it, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm that person that was like, okay, let me at least try to play with it to figure it out and then explain it so that you can use that too. And that's kind of where I came from, but it's always been in there. That spirit has always been there with me. I always want to figure out a way to make life easier. And I strongly believe technology are tools that can help me do that. And so I kind of held on to that. Like, we've been around each other for long, and I held on to that for the longest, that I was like, whew, okay. Like, people would be talking in our groups and they would be like, well, I could do it this and way. And my head was like, oh, but baby, I got some tech for you that we can make this happen. I promise you we can get this going. And I would be doing that stuff behind the scenes. And I wasn't just doing it for, our group. I was doing it for schools and, my day job. Right. And it was all well and good, except that they were like, atta girl, little pat on the back, with my little funky 2%, maybe 3% raise, and them making millions of dollars.
You making them more efficient. They making millions.
And I was like, okay, okay. And they were like, these are great. These are fantastic. And, my evaluations were like, yeah, this is great. We love this and this and that. But here's your 2%. Thank you very much. I was like, okay, I wish y'all would. Like, we're not going to keep doing this anymore. And so one of the things I really wanted to do in all of that was just show that we can be effective in our businesses, and we can be effective in our, our education or places of worship or wherever it might be, to incorporate this. And I was felt like I had the gifts to be able to do that. So that's what finally got me to say, okay, I'm going to come over and to the dark side. I kind of felt like for a little while to say, like, okay, I can claim that I am good with tech. Like, I could say that out loud, because there was a while that I would kind of say it behind the scene and like send people stuff behind the scene and say, hey, take a look at it. But I wouldn't put it out there. I wouldn't.
One of the things that I really, really like about you is that how you have just been very clear about, the fact that you have been techie, but you've created something that really will help colleges.
Yeah.
And it is game changing for colleges.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'm really proud to say that I have developed a series of AI-based apps. It's a family of apps. It's called Accreditation. And what it does, so it helps folks. And when I say folks, all of you who are in the education arena in different facets of it. So whether it's nursing based or allied health based, I have basically created an AI powered platform so you can put together your self-study. You can put together your accreditation documents. So I really wanted to do that because I'm going to tell you, accreditation in my world, when you are kind of the creative brain person, it is just mind numbing to do these documents. That's the best way I can put it. And anybody who's probably listening who has been involved in accreditation in some form or facet will attest to it. It's got to be done. It takes, when I say a number of documents, I mean, we are creating self-studies that are 80, 120 pages. So it takes a lot of time to put it together. It takes a lot of time to get the different team members on board to share their contributions to what's going on at the organization. And so I wanted a way for folks to be able to do those type of things together in a way that makes sense. I wanted it to take beyond the idea of it's a self-story to it's the story of your university. It's the story of your school over this time frame. And how can we share that narrative and create that narrative quicker than what we've done before in a way that makes sense?
I love it. I love it. I love it. And one of the things now I want you to explain to me what I said. Listen, I was in the emergency department.
Yes.
If you can't breathe, I can save your life. Well, I mean, the Lord saves your life. I'm just there to help him. So anyway, so I just want to know self-study. So what is a self-study? Can you?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Okay, so let's put it from the hospital perspective. JCO, okay, Joint Commission.
Mhm.
Joint Commission comes, for everybody who knows, Joint Commission comes every few years to your healthcare system to evaluate everything from A to Z. What's going on, making sure your processes are in place, the people who are being served are satisfied, all of that, right? So behind the scenes, the administrators are writing these documents to help support that they are doing these things, okay? And so that is essentially that report, that extended report is called a self-study. So we are, the administrators at the organization are creating their own report, i.e. self-study, to share what they have done to meet the criteria for a Joint Commission, okay?
Right.
From a school's perspective, there are accrediting bodies that have that same concept. They are looking at the schools to make sure that they are holding up their end of the bargain, that the standards that we are being held to are actually being taken care of. And so we create a document that is called a self-study, that we are self-reporting. This is the evidence of what we've done to meet this standard. This is the data that helps us to support that we are meeting the standard, or we are making these changes to help make the adjustments so that we can meet it.
I love that. Yeah, because why I have a colleague, actually, we're friends, and so she actually, there's a school here that started their RN to BSN
Yeah.
program. That's how they started initially, right? And so they had to be accredited. And she was about to pull her hair out with the whole accreditation process. And so for you to be able to come in, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this out loud, I'm gonna say this proud. If you are not using AI in your business, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
That's just what that is. And a lot of people are scared of AI, but they were scared of the internet when it first came out, right? And it creates that connectivity that the internet has literally changed people's lives. It's literally changed the trajectory of their lives, and AI can do the very same thing for you. And it makes it so much easier for you to be able to do that. And so you are launching this product. It's already together, but when would it be available to the public?
So what I'm going to be doing is I want us to develop a community, because it's not just us. It's a lot of us who are sitting there trying to figure out this accrediting piece in the first place. And so sometimes we just have to have like minds sitting together. So I'm going to have an Accred AI community. The app will be available starting June 8th. So I want you, in terms of the mailing list, I want you to join me on the mailing list so that when we are there and join our community, you can then get access. And I chose June 8th because it's International Accreditation Day. What better way to start that than talking about that at that point in time? Okay.
I love it.
Yeah. And so again, it is for any nursing education place that we have, university or college, that you can go in. I have all the different types of accrediting bodies in there. So you will be able to find it no matter what stage in the process you're at.
So how often do you have to be accredited?
It depends on which program that you're in. So it could be, if you have full accreditation, for some places, it may be up to 10 years. For some, it may be 5 if you're doing an initial accreditation. If you are in review, or if you have things that you need to change, it could be a yearly basis. And we always have to do yearly reports anyway to say this is where we're at in the process.
Gotcha. And this AI app helps make life so much easier.
Ma'am, I promise you. Yeah. One of the things that trying to develop this report in the first place it's mind numbing. And it's like when you're saying your friend who's doing this program right now, pulling her hair, she is not the only one. That is part of the reason I developed this in the first place, because I got tired of pulling my hair out, and I saw everybody else who was basically getting ready to go up for accreditation experiencing the same thing. And we've been experiencing it for years and years. And it didn't matter how experienced an educator or administrator you were. The pain still was there. It never changed. And so if we have to go through this, can we not use AI to help support us in developing this piece of it and helping us to tell the story of what we are doing in our school, our organization over the past 1, 5, 10 years? Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So listen, if y'all trying to get accredited, Dr. Cleveland is the person for you, okay? Because you're pulling your hair out, but Dr. Cleveland is the person for you. And I'm gonna ask at the end where we can find her at, okay? So, but we have some rapid fire questions for her right now. Is there anything else that you want to tell the people?
No, I want you guys to understand that I really focused on the self-study aspect of it. I think that's one thing to pay attention to, and connect you to the resources of those in the accrediting body, the respective accrediting bodies, so that we can have a mutual relationship with everything. I want you to feel some peace as much as I can inside the use of my platform.
Yeah, I love it. AI does create a lot. It creates a lot of peace for me. I don't know about nobody else, but it has been game changing for us.
Yeah, AI every day,
Yeah.
form or facet.
I be asking questions. I'd be like, Chatty, like what where can I find this salon at? Okay.
Me and Chatty are like girlfriend, friend. Like we got names for each other at this place.
That's right.
I'm like, hey boo. I'm sure my husband's like, who are you talking to? Don't you worry about it, baby. This is boo. Right. Don't worry about it.
Love it. So, first question, what has been the most rewarding thing about nursing?
I think one of the most rewarding things is the opportunities that you can have. If you're choosing to move into another arena within nursing, you have that opportunity. And I think that it is a good profession to understand. If you look beyond just the immediate unit, it's a good understanding of the ecosystem of health and seeing what's going on with that. And if you're paying attention and kind of putting the peepers out to the different roles out there and seeing it from their perspective, you get a good inside view of what's going on in healthcare.
Love it. I love it. I love it. It's so funny because the other night I was talking to one of my girlfriend's babies who I was there when she was born. I mean, not there when she was born, but I was, around. And she was talking about going to be a sonographer. I was like, you need to go in the nursing program. I said, because it is just so wide and vast, the things that you can do in nursing. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So what's the common misconception about nursing?
Oh, that we're submissive and passive. Yeah, and are you surprised that I even said those things ever? Ever.
Hilarious.
Maybe we got too much strength up in here. Like so many people have so many strengths that they are doing elsewhere, or they're doing within their role, but may not be recognized. But I guarantee that these folks are not passive in terms of it. They are active contributors to what's going on in the healthcare arena. Be very clear.
You have to have a backbone in nursing. Like you cannot. Like between the patients and the doctors, like you've got to have some strength.
I mean, I feel like sometimes I have a t-shirt that says, I wish you would. Just sometimes that you just kind of like want to. Like, no, what's not going to happen here is this. And it's with love in my heart that I say that. But no, ma'am, no, sir. That's not going to happen like this. So, yeah.
I love it. What are you reading now?
Oh, I am reading Let Them. Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins.
Yeah, baby. And I feel like, I'm very guilty of this. So this was a good kind of reflection in terms of it. I could get to the point, and I think a number of us can get to the point of experiencing, hey, I hear things from other people, or I feel like they've done something to me. And, sometimes my response may not be the most correct response. I'll just leave it at that. And sometimes you don't always have to respond. And so to me, I appreciate that book because it's not just the give yourself permission to let them be who they are, but then you need to carry through. And then what do you do as your response? And so it actively helps me to work on my response. Okay. Allow me to feel what I'm feeling for a little bit, but then work through that, allow those feelings to happen and work through my response. So I really like that one right now.
I love it. I love it. Last night, I don't think you were on the call last night when we had the Zoom pirates come in again.
No.
And they couldn't share the screen because I turned that off, but I hadn't had the mute turned off. And so they came in and they were screaming and then they were writing vulgar things in the chat. So I had to turn the chat off. And so, the reality, and one of the ladies, she said, I love your poise during the time. Cause I was just like, kick them out. Right. And then this other lady started writing on the screen again. I was like, listen now, you gonna get kicked out too. Okay. And so she was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Right. And so you can't have like a soft answer turns away wrath.
Yeah.
And that's Proverbs. And all leadership, I believe that every leadership principle that you've ever had comes from the Bible.
Wholeheartedly.
And so that is, you like, you can't get upset with people. People gonna be who people are. That's what they spend their whole life being who they are. And so you can't worry about it, because you reap what you sow and you're gonna get it back. And I ain't gotta give it to you.
Exactly. And my time being concerned about them is distracting me from my purpose.
Come on.
So I don't have time for all of that.
Come on now. I
That's
love
what
it.
like really like, okay, so why am I wasting my time? Y'all just jacked up my day. Actually, I jacked up my day because I was so concerned about y'all that I wasn't concerned about what I had going on. And we got too much of our own selves going on, all the magic that we have, to be bothered with this. And so that was good for me at that point in time.
I love it. I love it. Now, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned in business?
One, to start. I am a creative person to my heart and soul, and I will create anything and everything. But if nobody sees it, it don't matter.
Right.
I mean, I'm just creating my little habit and my little hobby. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And so that really, if you are like sitting there and trying, I have this idea, it's been nagging at me forever and ever. It's time to make that next move.
That's right. I love it.
Yeah. And I think the other big lesson for me in particular is the power of the pivot. And I've shared that before, but I really hone to that. When I started the journey with Dr. V, as she mentioned earlier, one of the things that I was doing the coaching, and I was comfortable. I was good. I still am, good with what I had, but I was holding back on my other gift. And part of the reason I held back was my insecurities about, am I really going to be able to contribute something? But the other piece to me is that I've grown up in terms of, you can't shine so much. There's only so much light that you can allow to put out there, because after that, you're kind of bragging. And it wasn't meant to be a brag. It was meant to share my gifts so that I could serve others in this capacity. And so when I finally allowed myself to say I could pivot from what I was doing with the coaching to the tech, that was like a game changer for me. That was like, I'm sorry, go ahead. But
yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I felt like not only pivoting from what I was doing, but the population I was serving.
I think it's important for people to know that, like, we hear it, right? We hear the whole, we hear what we're saying all the time, right? But people have to, Alex Hormozy said this one time. He said people have to be reminded more than they have to be, told one time, right? They have to be reminded all the time, right?
Yeah.
And of course it takes, it used to take 7 touches, now it takes 15 touches in order for people to get your product, right? But the reality is that it's the reminder, and we hear it all the time. And so then we think that we're bragging, but the reality is that there's 10,000 people out there that have not heard about what the product is. And so we've got to, and more than 10,000, like 1 billion people have not heard about it. And so it's important for us to move that needle for sure. Now, who is a leader, living or dead, that you would want to have a conversation with?
Ooh, I'd have a big table for that. Like, seriously, right? That's, you know who? And this probably is not the typical, Queen Latifah. And I say,
why Queen? Why Queen?
I love the Queen. That's my friend in my head. She don't know it yet. So if you happen to see this Queen, look, get together with me on this. But I love that she is who she is. I love that she has a corporation behind the scene. She doesn't necessarily say it out there, but she lives it. And so she has folks behind the scene that are helping her navigate her particular brand. And she's also navigating, and she's been out as of late sharing her journey in terms of supporting a particular nonprofit. I like that she's unapologetic in who she is. And I like that I've got to see her evolution from where she started to where she is right now. And she is showing you how to develop streams of income and how to pivot. and
Yeah.
how to take rejection. Because especially when she was in rap, like she was getting rejected all the time per se, being a woman in a primarily man's field, really.
Mhm.
Like if you come out and called the queen on top of that, that's
Mm.
saying something. And here
And
she is
they too.
later, 40 years later, doing her thing, and she's evolved, and it's great to see that. So that's who I would love to sit down with.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, see, I'm going to regress in about 2 seconds. They're going to think I'm a teenage boy at this moment. Y'all, okay, so I feel like I have to apologize for this, but you know what? I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to stand unapologetic because I am such a Will Ferrell addict. I promise you. So I am like Anchorman and Talladega Nights and the Spider-Man, the animated Spider-Man that came out a few years ago.
Mhm.
Truthfully, if I want to just chill, those are right up my alley. And I love it because they're free to be just who they are. It's silly, it's absolutely the total opposite of where I am at some point in time. Usually I'm watching them when I'm stressed out for something. And then the Spider-Man is my movie because it is absolutely amazing from the day that we used to watch the cartoons to where it is right now. Like the lessons that you really as a business person can pull out of the production that they had to put this together. And
Oh,
the way that it's a whole story behind that this took years to make that version, animated Spider-Man version, so that into the Spider-Verse and then across the Spider-Verse and all those, that was a huge deal for them because it was a next level in terms of animation that they hadn't seen it like that before. So I find besides the teenage guy in me loving it, I love the fact that it's kind of an example that I see that they stepped out and like I know the story behind it and they move forward with it. And not only one, they extended to a series. So it, for me as a business owner, it reminds me, step out, be okay with being different, shine your light as being different, and you will find your audience who will want to see you and extend your services.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing I think that people struggle with, like the whole difference. Like you got to be different. Like you got to be a disruptor
Yeah.
in order to be like I used to play small too, and I was like, this ain't working. You have got to roll out and tell people who you are, and don't care about what they say as long as it's legal and ethical. Okay, I don't know what you're doing nothing that ain't that, but outside of that, listen, the sky is the limit.
Yes.
Things that are done now were not done in the past, and you wouldn't have even known to do those things had it not been for the fact that people were disruptors. So absolutely, I love it. How do you define success?
So I heard one of my pastors back in the day. I loved what he had said about success, where the two C's in the middle is Christ-centered. And so in terms of that, that's what I hold to, that things that are surrounding the other letters surrounding those two C's, everything that I do is still Christ-centered in terms of it. So prosperity is still one of the things that are Christ-centered. I still wholeheartedly believe to that. I feel that there are the value systems that I hold to are still, as long as I feel like I'm in alignment with that, I feel that that's success with it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What's your life's motto?
You know what? At this moment, be bold and be unapologetic.
I love it.
That's
done.
like really that's where I'm at right now because I'm like,
Now, where can the people find you?
I want you guys, I will be coming out there real soon to be in your inboxes, and you will start seeing on LinkedIn. So connect with me on LinkedIn. You will see Accreditation, and we're going to be starting to develop a community. And I want you guys to join that community. I want you guys to be the ones who start and say, you know what, we're about to go into this process. And why not use what's available to us? Why do we have to do everything so hard? Like we don't have. So look for me, Dr. Sandra Cleveland on LinkedIn. It'll be under Accred AI. And you'll see this journey start from there. And we'll get you there and join us there. Okay.
I love it. I love it. So if you're a professor, so who is your target audience?
So
Like
administrators and faculty members in nursing and or allied health programs.
okay.
Education programs. Yes.
If that's who you are, then you need to connect with Dr. Cleveland, because let me tell you something, she is the bomb.com. I mean, there is, I don't say that, like, I'm not the person to come out and say that people are good without them being good, because I don't have to fill the universe with words, right? But the reality is that she is amazing. So y'all need to connect with her and like, share, and comment on this video so that we can get it out. We can make sure that you have what you need. And you, ladies and gentlemen, have an amazing rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.